Hey, what's going on, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this Transformers Rise of the Beast movie review, you know him from the Countdown City WrestleCast. He's the one and only Tommy
What's up, guys?
on a movie review stream. It's been
Hey,
too long. Or is this your
uh,
first review stream?
no. I think we did Black Panther 2, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think you guys went to a premiere without me, but I went and just I think I got to like a midnight showing. So yeah.
We need to have you on more than once a year for movies. I'm just saying.
I gotta get some more movie premieres, dude. But I gotta work out my schedule so I can start going with you guys more often.
And from the Star Wars Stuff podcast, he's a child of the '80s. He absolutely loves Transformers. The one and only Dave Lozano.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I really want to get down deep and dirty and talk about this film because it was surprising. I really liked it, so I'm glad we're going to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, we have a couple of house items to take care of. In just a couple of minutes, we have another round of Flash movie advanced screening giveaway passes for residents of the Houston area, H Town.
Hmm.
Get
H-Town?
ready. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat in just a few minutes. But first and very quickly, a message from our sponsor, the absolute best retro store in San Antonio, Real Retro. All right, fantastic. I hope you guys are ready. If you're watching right now and you're from the Houston area, now is the time. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. It's going to take you to our website, and you are absolutely free to go after your own passes to the Flash movie on June 14th. And I believe these tickets are for the Edwards Houston Marquee on 7620 Katy Freeway. If this is the first time you guys are hearing about an advanced screening, this is the way it works. Movie is absolutely free. You pay for nothing, no purchase necessary. But all you need to make sure you do is you arrive as early as possible. I would say don't take any chances. Show up at least an hour and a half, 2 hours early. This is a very hot movie, and these tickets are going fast. So seating is limited. Arrive early. Enjoy the movie. Have a good time. All right. Link is in the chat. And you guys are absolutely welcome. Thank you for watching, subscribing, following, commenting, liking. And if you appreciate us giving out movie passes and you want us to keep doing that, smash the like button wherever you're at right now.
Right, yeah, I
Share
don't know
the
where it is. I
stream.
can't point at it.
Share the stream, and it will continue to allow us to give away movie passes all summer long, which we absolutely intend on doing. I might have some more passes by the end of this stream. We'll see what happens. Okay,
Ooh,
cool.
cool.
Back to the topic at hand. We are here for the Transformers Rise of the Beast review. No spoilers,
No
so you can watch.
spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, the movie drops this weekend, and we're all very excited to talk about it. I think the person who enjoyed this movie the most is sitting to my digital right, and that is Tommy. I felt
Uh,
like I heard you more than I did the movie, which is not a complaint. I absolutely enjoy it when people are enjoying themselves in a movie, watching it, and having a great time. So, Tommy, just real quick, man, before we get into anything you liked about the movie specifically, just tell us kind of like your initial feelings after you had walked out of the theater.
oh man, initial feelings was I was very impressed. I expected a certain level of, I guess, kind of nerd appeal, if that makes any sense. But I feel like this hit on a lot of those levels more than I was expecting. So just for feelings out the gate was I thought, man, that was someone actually paid attention to the source material. I mean, not bad. I'm impressed. So and then of course, like, the little Easter eggs here and there, just so cool. We're just so cool. So yeah, I really really enjoyed it. The first feelings out the gate, I thought I got to see it again. That was actually what I thought. I was like, I got to watch this again. So
Lozano, same question, sir. Initial feelings leaving the theater last night.
I enjoyed it. I kind of felt that I was going to have a similar experience to what Bumblebee gave us, which was the
mhm.
first movie, I think, in this kind of set of new Transformers films that they're doing. They're kind of trying to stay away from the Michael Bay type Transformers and going more into the lore of Transformers, like Tommy mentioned. So I was excited for that. I know there's a lot of Easter eggs that probably went over my head, but I was anticipating the humor from Pete Davidson, which totally delivered, and the kind of anchoring of the Transformers with Peter Cullen's iconic voice, and it was all there. It felt like.
Speaking of comedy, what's going on in the chat right now? Kate says, "I hope Tommy didn't miss any work to see this film."
So full disclosure, that's actually my boss. That's my boss.
Oh, what is going on, Kate? How are you?
I told him we were going to do this. I didn't think that was going to be your first comment.
Tommy tells us all the time what a wonderful boss he has. Just amazing, just incredible.
Yeah,
Well,
legit, she really is a really good boss. She really is. Yeah.
that's
No,
amazing. That's
man. I was
fantastic.
expecting that. That was funny.
This is great. Lozano, you mentioned Davidson, and
Yeah.
honestly, that was what I was kind of looking forward to a little bit the most, or the thing that I was really anticipating, because one of the few things that I heard about this movie was that, like, Mirage was sort of going to be our the Transformer that we most probably get screen time for, sort of like the not the leader of them, but he was gonna be
Like the
on the
big
screen the
takeaway.
most. Yeah, he's gonna be the
Yeah.
biggest one, sort of the one that the audience sort of resonates with the most. And honestly, killed it. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
not be surprised if we find out Davidson had some hand in some of the dialogue,
Oh
because
yeah.
I've seen his
Hmm.
stand up before he was on SNL, and he's like my kind of humor. He's my very dry, sort of sarcastic humor that I absolutely love. And so the one-liners, the quips, the wittiness of
Just
Mirage's dialogue,
effortless.
on point, 100%. And there's even a few things that were like kind of borderline. Should he have said that in the Transformers movie?
Dude,
There was
man,
one
But I
joke that
loved
hit.
it.
dude, there was a couple of jokes like that. I was like, "Whoa, y'all! I know y'all are in '94, but we're in 2023. Why are you saying?" I
Does Hasbro know y'all said that on the movie? Does Hasbro
seriously,
understand? Yeah.
I've always liked Pete Davidson ever since Wild and Out. I don't know if you guys even remember he was even on that show for like a couple of seasons, like real like way back in the day. So I was curious how he would pull off Mirage, but I think one of the early trailers when I heard him, I was like, oh, okay, this could be fun. So and then I like you said, I think he really did deliver. I think he was a really fun character. I mean, you could clearly tell it was Pete Davidson, but at the same time, it was fun enough to where that kind of didn't matter anymore. If that makes any sense, it's like usually with this, who the actor is, it just all that just takes over. But you really started to see more just Mirage and not so much Pete Davidson, even though you clearly knew who it was.
Absolutely. I also love that the Bumblebee was sort of a movie of the '80s. They really laid it on heavy with the soundtrack, and it was great. It was
Yeah,
fantastic. Going back to the '90s, there's not enough content that does that, and so whenever
no,
you see a movie that really goes hard on the '90s soundtrack, it's always just refreshing, and you kind of forget like how amazing music was. It was sort of a
yeah.
renaissance of music at the time.
It's funny you mentioned that. So you talked about probably hearing me in the theater more than the movie. That was half the reason. Like me, because for those who don't know, my wife came with us when we saw the premiere, and me and her both were just trying not to like sing and or rap every single song that played, except Tobe and Guame's song, which was new, which I haven't heard yet, which I'm going to soon. But it's like every song that came on, I was just like, oh, I need to watch this movie alone because I need to sing all these songs. This movie became a try not to sing challenge immediately, and I was like, oh, there are other people, and I'm technically working, so I don't want to just be that guy.
Let's talk about a few things that we really liked, and of course, just be very vague about it. Whether it's like a generic scene, or the fight sequences, or the action, or how the movie ended. Just very general. Tommy, back to you, sir. What did you really like about this movie?
I did really like that Tobe and Guame could be a very hilarious actor. I didn't know that until this movie. I loved his character. The human characters I thought were fun. Does he have any? Good Lord, Kate. I don't think there were any cats, Kate. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing any cats except for if you count. Well, yeah, actually, you know what? As soon as you said that, so I thought of it too. There's a Transformer cat, Kate. So maybe you can watch it because of that. Anyway,
doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't really. If I had a Transformer cat, that. Yeah, she was right. I do regret this. I'm kidding. But no. So the music was great. The action was fantastic. That's like the one thing in Transformers movies that I can pretty much guarantee the action will be fun. But I gotta be honest. Of all the movies, this might be my favorite story driven. Maybe Bumblebee might be first, but story-wise, I liked it because, and I tell everyone this. It's a weird sentence to say, but I love this because it focuses on the Transformers. If that makes any sense, it's like the story was about the Transformers from start to finish, and again, being very general, the action sequences and how the movie ended in particular just made me really excited about what we could be getting next. So I thought, for just a Transformers movie, I think they just went above and beyond. The chat's stopping me more than remembering the movie is.
Joe's a very good friend of mine, known him for a long time. So long that he absolutely knows because we share a mutual friend that had like a ton of them. So you know exactly what we're talking about, sir.
Yeah, my dad bought me and I passed out a ton of Transformers toys. They're all still in like plastic bins at my parents' house. The ones that my nephews and nieces didn't end up taking, there's still like a ton at my parents' house. Like them and like Megazords from Power Rangers are just all stuffed in like plastic bins at my parents' house. Still right now. So
probably thousands of dollars worth of toys.
At this point, probably. And if I sold them all, I would probably have just enough to pay my dad back for all the ones he bought over the years. It would almost make it. Probably not quite, but almost. That would get close.
Let's go to Lozano. Lozano, some aspects of the movie that you really enjoyed.
Aside from the incredible CGI, the slow mo, the action sequences were all on point.
Sure.
We saw it in a fantastic theater at Santikos.
Yeah, for sure.
But I really did like the storyline for Anthony Ramos, who played Noah Diaz. I thought they gave us some hints in the beginning about what could possibly happen, and I think everything. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free here. I really did like his story. I liked his arc. I liked. I mean, a lot of these films they have characters from New York, from Brooklyn, from the Bronx, but this story in particular, I really did like his evolution as a character as well. Because you see him have a tough time, but he comes back, and it's kind of the traditional story in a way. But I just kind of want to talk about the Transformers in general. So back in 2007, I was super hyped, as well as all my friends. It was a long time ago for that first Michael Bay Transformers film, and I think it did deliver on a lot of levels. But then every sequel after that, I think it kind of fell off a little more and a little more and a little more. Not until Bumblebee, that first opening action sequence, I think kind of brought me back to Transformers. And to me, it felt like Hollywood finally kind of got it, what we kind of wanted to see, that fight on Cybertron. So I was a lot more hyped for this film. And of course, I don't think the original team had much to do with this new film as they didn't with Bumblebee. I believe the director was different, Stephen Capel Jr.
Mhm.
Screenplay was by someone else, Joby Harold, Darnell Metayer, Josh Peters, Eric Hober, and John Hober. But yeah, it feels like Hasbro kind of got the memo, and now we're moving into the realm of doing stuff that I think the fans are really asking for and really
Yeah.
wanting. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was exciting. The humor was great. Um, the story worked. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short.
Mhm.
The theater we saw it in, the sound was fantastic. Our seats were shaking with the bass. And it was a fun time. Usually in these screenings, you don't get a lot of cheering. So I think it says a lot that people in front of us,
I
Tommy especially,
I had to
I saw him put his hands up like this.
I held mine in for some for a couple, but there was one moment, and so I used to watch Beast Wars with my mom. So there was one moment that I was waiting the whole movie for. When I finally heard it, that it was like when I saw the Power Rangers movie back in the day with my then girlfriend, now wife. I'm positive she had a moment when we watched the Power Rangers movie where she thought, I'm dating him. I'm dating him. I agreed to this, and I'm still okay. I guess I'm just in now, and I can't get out. So,
I knew
but
this all along, and I always have
yeah.
my
So
foot
so
down.
that's why in this movie she had no more excuses. I was like, no, you know who I am. You've seen this person. By the way, I looked it up after I got home. The director of this movie is literally 9 days younger than I am.
Wow.
He is not. We were born the exact same year, the exact same month. He is 9 days behind me. And I said, "Oh, that's fun to read."
That's awesome. Yeah, when I was going to high school, I would actually wake up early, even though I lived like 5 minutes away from my high school, to
Yeah,
watch Beast Wars that would air early in the morning on
yeah,
our local Fox station. And I
yeah.
really got into it. It was just something I put on one day or one morning while I was eating breakfast before going to school, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually pretty decent." So if you haven't checked out Beast
Yeah.
Wars, it's a pretty compelling animated series. Like computer animated series, so it was kind
Yeah,
of ahead of its time.
I don't
that
know if
was
you've watched any clips lately. It's not great by today's standards, but it's not terrible either. Really,
Yeah,
it's
it's still
really not.
watchable.
Yeah, it's still watchable. It's not like, oh god, no. It's like, this isn't that great anymore, but it's not as terrible as you would think it would be at this point.
that
Yeah,
was
and
that
you brought up
weird time frame where like some shows went like too far, like they took too many steps. Like Beast Wars
Yeah,
did that. Reboot did that. You remember Reboot?
I love Reboot. I to this day I love Reboot. I'm mad it didn't get a
Reboot
proper
was
conclusion.
wild. I need to go back and watch those episodes because like I
Yeah,
remember things. I'm just like it's
I
crazy.
have I have both of those full DVD sets because like
Oh, wow.
before I had anything streaming related, or like I wasn't really doing streaming, I saw they would like be at Walmart for like 30 or 40 or $50, and then I'd save up the money, I go back and buy them, dude. But the problem is with the Reboot one especially, my mom stole it. I know where it is, but it was in my room. She legit. I was still living at home. True story. Because she's done this with several things I bought, including my entire Thundercat series. I was still living at home. It was after I graduated college. It was like my first jobs. My first couple paychecks, I would buy like stuff I wanted. Then once I was graduated, right? So one day I come home after buying. It's especially after Thundercats. When Reboot was gone, I knew where it was. But I came home. My Thundercats, where it was on my shelf, was empty, and I was like, "What the hell? Where did all my Thundercats DVDs go?" And one day I'm going through my mom's stuff looking for something else, and I pull open a drawer, and there are all my entire set just sitting. I'm like, "Mom!" She's like, "What?" So yeah, my mom's a nerd too. So she's gonna. I told her she's gonna love this movie.
Oh my god,
Man,
it's
I
amazing.
remember going to Sam Goody at South Park Mall and seeing the complete
Dude,
set of Transformers on DVD for like
yes,
$90, and I was like, I really want to see it, but is it $90 worth? I really want to see it. So I just like
yep,
look at it every time I go, and I'm like, man, I was so close to buying it, but now of course we have YouTube, we can see
yeah.
most of it there. But
CD
yeah, Beast
Exchange.
Wars, check it out.
Yeah, CD Exchange was my saving grace in those times because whenever someone would like sell something there, that's how I got the entire Robotech series. Like
Oh really?
someone had it at CD Exchange. When there was one off of Evers, and they had it there. It was only like $40, I think. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Uh, just to kind of round out this discussion right here with what we liked. I can't remember what movie it was, but there was a certain time. I think it was a Transformers movie where like we saw the humans too much, and we're like, it's not supposed to be that movie. It's supposed to be about the popular thing.
Right.
And so
Creative
I'm happy to
distinction.
say
Sorry, sorry.
happy to say that the people do not overshadow the Transformers in this movie. As a matter of fact, they really support the Transformers in this
Yeah.
movie. There's some really big connections, that some bonds that are forged, and I know they tried to do that with the other ones, but can you really bond with Marky Mark or like Shia LaBeouf as much as you can? I don't know. Some of those movies, yeah, they're pretty good. But this one, it feels like it does it a little bit. It's a little bit more genuine in that regard. And I'm just gonna say, there's a actor in this movie. I'll just say his name, Dean Vasquez. You're gonna know him pretty soon as Chris. Kid steals the show. Like everything he
Dude,
said, everything he did it with such charisma and confidence that I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to go to war for this kid. I don't even know him." So, it was really awesome. And I also, like you guys mentioned, the special effects are great, the fight sequences are great. I am going to say that, like, above all else, this has the best final act of all the Transformers movies. I was going into the final act like, I'm not that excited, but like 2 minutes into it, they turned it up to 10, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever."
And then there's a moment in
it,
there,
Oh
a
yeah.
yeah,
big crowd pleasing
yeah,
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, they
yeah.
they were just setting
Um,
us up, and they were just like
Yeah.
easing
they
us
were,
into it.
Yes.
they were.
Yes.
Oh my god, that crowd pleasing moment was almost worth the entire price just for that moment. I will say, if we're going strictly by final acts of Transformers movies, this is probably my tie for number one. Damn it, Kate. Oh my god, I can't wait to see her at work tomorrow. This is my tie for number one because originally my ties for number one were one and three. Those were my top favorite third acts. But this is up there with those now. It might bump three out a little bit and still because I can never get past the excitement I had for one. That's
Yeah.
why the
Yeah.
nostalgia
The hype.
factor.
Yeah.
The hype, the nostalgia factor, and the fact that we got a freaking live action Transformers movie puts one still like on its own for me. So it's kind of unfair for me to compare the other movies to it ever because I remember because like at that point of course Power Rangers was live action, so we already had that. I had gotten several live action Ninja Turtles movies, so I'd already had that, and all these other movies. And then when I heard we were getting live action Transformers, I was like, well, this is just everything I ever wanted as a kid. So yeah, let's do this. So yeah.
Let's get to the other side of the coin here. So things that
Okay.
might not have worked for us so much, I'll go ahead and start a little bit. The first two acts, I know the first act is it's definitely used to introduce kind of the universe that we're in, not just
Mhm.
in the literal sense, but also like the characters and build them up and tell us who they are and stuff. I'm gonna let that one slide. The second act of this movie, it dragged at certain parts, and then there were a couple of things that made me go, should it really have been that easy to do this or go there or whatever? But it's a Transformers movie, so like I'm not going to dwell on those things too much.
Yeah.
But I will say that I I think that's really it. Just the certain parts where the movie kind of dragged, and then a few things that may or may not be considered plot holes in case unless you really look at them and you go back, which we
Yeah.
can't do right now. So, other than that, like everything else, like really strongly worked for me. It's also great. I said we were going to stop talking about that, but there's a few Transformers in here that we know very well. Like we've seen them on TV multiple times, and they've been in movies. But the things that they did with a couple of them that we know very well were drastically different than what we've done before. All that to
Yeah.
say that like there's some Transformers, they're the same. It's kind of like Batman. He's like the same in every movie, and I don't really like it to be that way. I'll just say one of the Transformers in here, he's normally the same in all the movies. In this one, they actually gave him like a little bit of a character arc. They gave him some depth. They gave
Yeah.
him some personal obstacles, and I enjoyed that a
Hmm.
lot. It's really fantastic. So all in all, really good. Very small nitpicks that I would say about this movie, but most of it, majority of it, fantastic. Tommy, anything that didn't really work for you all that well?
Um, this really, like you said, this is kind of a nitpick as well. But I always feel like there are certain plot elements that can be fixed that people just kind of talk. Like instead of instead of just like kind of this one, and I get why they did that, and like I said, it's a nitpick really because I just because I enjoyed it so much, I had to really struggle to think like, well, what didn't I like about it? And it really wasn't a lot, if anything at all. I was uh, I could have done with a little bit more of the soundtrack, just a couple more hit 90 songs here and there, but they hit some ones I didn't expect them to hit, so I can't even get mad at that anymore, really, because like there were a couple of those I was like, oh shoot, they remembered that one, and I was too happy. So, um, no, because no, that's really about it. Everything else more or less worked for me. I really just thought it was really good. Yeah.
I can't add one more. We'll go to
Oh
David
no, go
next.
ahead.
I
Yeah.
can't add one more. This plot is very similar to like all the Transformer movie plots,
Oh
and
yeah, no, yeah.
but but also it's kind of hard because like yeah, we've kind of seen this plot before, but it's almost like a Ghostbusters movie. Like you're gonna go catch ghosts, and you can't really get around that. So I'm not willing to bury this movie for using a very similar plot to stuff we've seen in the past. But um, I think if you can get past that, everything else easy going, and you'll be fine. Lasagna,
I
anything that? Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say real quick. I said I feel like that's about that just keeps with the spirit of the cartoon originally. It was always like it was like just that we got to go do this thing. The Decepticons, yes, they're gonna stop us from doing the thing. The Decepticons are doing a thing. We can't let them do the thing. Okay, let's go do the thing. So yeah, that's how I feel about every episode. Sorry, David.
Oh, it's all good.
Lasagna, yeah, anything that didn't really work for you all that well.
I think I'll echo everything that Ted said.
Okay.
The middle of the film, I think, kind of got a little slow. Um, I was starting to feel kind of sleepy at that point, but when that third act revs up, boy, it goes, man. And I was impressed. Um, and one thing I didn't touch on enough, I think, was the nostalgia, the '90s nostalgia. Lots of Easter eggs, certain
Yeah.
things in the '90s you look for, they were there.
Oh my
Mhm.
god.
And also another negative, I think for me, I think for general audiences, is the fact that there are some characters that are missing that you would expect maybe to show up at least, if maybe not main characters. Because I was expecting specific characters to show up and they didn't. But we
Oh yeah.
did
Okay.
get a lot of Transformers in
Yeah.
there.
I get
I
you, man.
mean, most of the time, I mean, most of the action, I mean, was the transform. It was awesome. It's incredible what we can do these days with the CGI, and the
Yeah.
CGI was on point. Um, I didn't notice any of the seams, any of the uh, the kind of building blocks to create those CGI characters, because of course we know they're not real, but
Yeah.
they blended in perfectly in the real world, as good as I've ever seen. And I was actually thinking about it. I think this is for me top 3 Transformers film. I want to say the first one, Bumblebee, and this one. I think for me personally, I mean, so it's up there. If and I said it in our review on the Countdown City Geeks website and on our YouTube channel that I uh, I think if you're on the fence on going to see another Transformers film, because we've had a lot, don't be. Go check it out. It's a fun movie. You'll laugh. Um, Even if you're not a big fan of Transformers, I think you're still gonna enjoy it. It's a nice summer movie, and you're gonna laugh. You're gonna have fun, and you're gonna be kind of in awe the spectacle of what you get in this film. It felt like a very expensive film. You
Yeah,
saw a
it
lot of
did.
money on screen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You heard it here, guys. We're all giving you majority positive rating for this movie. It's going to be a massive hit. I think word of mouth is really going to carry this film. It's going to
Yeah.
have some legs. It's also been a good while since we've had a Transformers movie. The one thing I kind of missed was the Terracons were formidable, man. Like I what
Yeah, for
one of the
sure.
things that I always sort of joked about with the older Transformers movies is like Optimus Prime is a G. Like you're putting him up against all these henchmen and they're supposed to survive till like the end of the movie. Like nobody would last. And so seeing how formidable the Terracons were was actually kind of refreshing because most of the time it's Optimus mowing down people like throughout the movie. And so I really enjoyed it. It was really cool. So yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and do Geekcast ratings. I'm down. Let's do Geekcast
Okay, all
ratings.
right, I was gonna say I don't know if you
Um,
wanted to or not.
I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe not, but let's go ahead and do it. So, this is a point in the review where we give you our Geekcast rating. It's 1 to 5. Five being, best Transformers movie ever. One being the worst Transformers movie ever. You can take your pick on what those might be in your own head. But for me,
I had a joke
I'm
immediately on
gonna
the stuff.
For me, I'm gonna say this is a strong 4. I'll even go 4.25. I'm willing to give it that extra quarter of a point. I just think there's a lot to love about it. The things that I didn't really like as much were not detrimental to the movie whatsoever. And we'll probably discuss it in depth more after the movie's out, so we can discuss it with you. But all in all, 4.25, strong film. Tommy.
Man, I gotta be honest, man. I really think this is a 4.75 for me. It was I like I said, any issue I had with it was a nitpick at most. But then I feel like because I completely get what both of you are saying about the second act, and I really do. I actually agree. But I almost feel like that was their cool down before the rev up, if you know what I mean. So I feel like they're like, okay, you get a break, guys, because when we hit this point, you're done. Your adrenaline will be pumping the entire time.
Yeah, so if you need
Like
to go to the
like like
restroom, go during that time.
dude, I had to fight it so bad. We were in the theater. I told my wife, I am not leaving. I don't care.
Give me the soda cup. Give me the soda cup.
Look, if it had been 10 minutes longer, that might have been next.
Lozano, what is your rating for the movie, sir?
So you kind of stole my rating, kind of.
Ooh.
I was gonna give it a 4.2. So you gave it a 4.25. I'm gonna give it a 4.2. Um, it was a really impressive Transformers film. I was pleasantly surprised. I
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to come away as happy as I did from Bumblebee with this, and I knew it was a sequel, but different director, different time period, all of the nostalgic Easter eggs in there, all the stuff I was looking for, all the music. I mean, it worked on many levels. So go see it, guys.
And we absolutely love that Kate joined us this evening in the
Yeah.
chat. The only thing about this movie Tommy regrets is telling me about this tree.
Oh
That
man, seeing
brings
her tomorrow at work is gonna be hilarious.
that brings our overall Geekcast rating to a 4.4. Not too shabby, as I always say.
Nice.
We want to hear from you guys. So when you get a chance to check out this movie, let us know your thoughts about it. You can always comment on this video, send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send message button, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeeks.com. Listen, if you haven't been following us for a long time, this is a really massive week. We're all doing stuff here. So tomorrow, we have some of our team members going to see The Flash movie, and they're probably going to be talking about that tomorrow. There's another film that we're going to be checking out in town. Like the other half of our team are going to be doing Thursday. Tommy and the WrestleCast are going to be live streaming with the CEO and promoter for Superhero Comic Con and Car Show, the one and only Mr. Bob Wills, who has put on
Man.
one of the largest most highly anticipated conventions probably ever outside of San Diego or New York. So if you haven't
dude. The,
heard about it or you haven't heard from the man himself, uh, log in Facebook or YouTube Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear it from the big boss man himself, Mr. Bob Wills. Tommy, you excited about that?
yes. Dude, I'm so excited. Like when we were talking about it, I was like, no way. There's no way he's gonna come in. And when you said confirmed, I was like, yo, this is massive. Not just for us, but like the names being brought in for this, man. I thought we hit our peak when we heard like Brie Larson and everything. I was like, all right, cool. You know, that's it. Then Andrew Garfield, Kid Harington. And I was like, okay, well, who are the wrestlers he's bringing in? And then MJF, Jay Cargill, Rikishi. I'm like, oh. This is going to be amazing. And also, I think Rikishi just likes San Antonio because he like always finds a reason to come out here because I saw him at another con a couple years ago. I think Rikishi just likes San Antonio. So,
He loves that Tex-Mex.
but yeah, man, I'm super excited. I do remember Ji Yang one time said that's what he always does whenever he comes into town. He goes straight to whatever restaurant they can take him to. So yeah, I think that's one thing that's our claim to fame around here. So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a great show. So anyone who can tune in, please do. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. And if you are a fan of the Ghostbusters and you're in the San Antonio area, be sure to check out the Ghost Heads radio and the San Antonio Ghostbusters page for events and what we're doing on Thursday for Ghostbusters Day. We're going to be at Andretti's on the northwest side of town at the Rim, and we're going to be playing the Ghostbusters VR Academy with folks and just having a great old time. It's Ghostbusters Day 2023, and it's time to celebrate, especially with a movie right around the corner. That's going to do it for us. If you are also a big fan of Disney Pixar movies, Elemental is coming out very soon, and we're also
Oh,
giving away
yeah.
San Antonio passes to Elemental. If you want
Nice.
those, head on over to our not Facebook, to our website right now at countdowntothegeeks.com. Just click on the article. It'll take you to a site. Register with your email, and you will win tickets, advanced screening passes to Elemental, which I believe is in 2 weeks on the 24th,
Okay.
if I'm not
I
mistaken.
can't remember when it was coming out. So yeah.
That'll do it for us for the Geekcast. I am Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this Transformers review is one and only Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
And from the Star Wars Stuff podcast and the Spurs Stuff podcast, David Lozano.
Go
Woohoo!
Spurs, go.
Absolutely. Our review and my interview with Sasha Kaye, who plays Supergirl on the Flash movie, is now out on our Facebook page as well as on YouTube. Do me a favor, go check it out, like it, comment it, share it, and once again, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and we will see you guys very soon. Have a good night.
Good night, all.
Retro is San Antonio's most popular 80s and 90s retro store. Band tees, stickers, records, DVDs, jewelry, novelties, electronics, collectibles. Real Retro is your #1 source back to the 80s and 90s. Come relive the best years of your life. Real Retro,